Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's me, Mitch. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch and TGI. It is Friday, isn't it? Yeah, I think Monday. Yeah, Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday the 7th of August, and drink it if you got it. You magical bastard. Yeah, see everybody's chiming in, coming on in here. Welcome, welcome. I have my good friend Roberto Kiltz. Roberto in the green room, and I'll just get through a quick little opening welcome, and then we'll bring in Kiltz of the Red Hat this morning. The Red Hat. I have a red hat here somewhere, but I'm out of uniform today, I guess. So, how's everybody this morning? Hope you all had a good night's sleep, and are looking forward to a nice weekend. I understand that there's a meetup somewhere, because I heard it from Kelly, who's on his way today to go to the meetup. So have a good time. Barry Simon is going to be calling me this afternoon from the restaurant in Boston, where we're going to televise live. We're going to have the big semi-mobile TV studio like they do at football games, sitting outside with cameramen set up everywhere and production facilities, and we're going to test all that out this afternoon and make sure that it works. And on the 22nd of August, we're going to have a 4-hour live stream direct from the Brazilian Steakhouse up there in Massachusetts, and I'm going to be heading up the Florida remote contingent, and we're going to have a panel, and anybody and everybody can join in that meetup virtually and talk to people up there and watch them eat and be very envious and jealous. So if you're going to come in live with us, bring a steak with you. So feel right at home. Let me do some quick hellos here this morning and see who was the winner. The first one in this morning, Mike Seeley, and that was at 3:46. Mike, you're getting up earlier and earlier. And Leslie Yellow Rose is here from England very early. Brian Dish chimed in at 5-something. Wow. Bandits, good morning very early. Barry Simon at 6:30, and now we start to trek up to 7 o'clock. Jerry Voitish, hi, Jerry. Barry talking about the Boston meetup. I'll leave it up on the screen for a second. You can email him and Danny if you want to RSVP. Richard Williams, hi, Richard. Good to see you. Copper Hill, Tennessee. And Sandy Blythe. Mike Shelley Sr.'s here. Lori Whitesell is here. Lucy Works here. How you doing, Lucy D.? Good morning. Thinking for myself. And Liz, hi, everyone, she says. Sneak it up. And Rick, good morning, Rick. How are you? Shannon, hi, Shannon. And Max D is here with us this morning. And we're sneaking up on 7 o'clock. Brian Dish. And the chatting start. And Tana says, are you guys saying that I missed Kelsey again? Don't worry, there's going to be plenty of Kelsey going around today. This is going to be the day of Kiltz. And don't forget, well, you know, Ken Berry didn't show up. Had something happen, and I think it may have been about sheep, and he had to cancel, and he's rescheduled for today. Now we've been trying to find out what happened, and we found somebody that actually was there and had a cell phone. and had a cell phone, and was able to give us a great idea of really what happened the other day.
Hey, y'all, I was supposed to join that cholesterol and carnivore conversation, but I had a sheep emergency. One of them got out. I chased that woolly rascal all over the pasture. Finally caught it, but not before it knocked me down in the mud. So that's why I'm late and a mess.
So, apologies to Ken in advance. Now, that's uncanny, isn't it? And that's uncanny when you think that Barry Simon created that with AI, but that was as close to Ken Berry as I've seen without it actually being Ken Berry. And we've been wrestling with playing that or not, but I figured, oh, Ken will probably get a kick out of it. Or else I'm going to start to get letters from his lawyer. So hopefully Kelsey and Ken Berry will have a great conversation today. I like Ken. I think he still remembers me, and hopefully still likes me. But that was funny. Kelsey had not seen that yet. Everybody keeps saying, "You got to shout out to Kelsey. You got to shout out to Kelsey." So I figured I'd sneak that in this morning. I was watching Kelsey in the green room. He was laughing. Well, we'll bring him in a second. I just want to get up to 7 o'clock here, and as if we ever wonder who was the winner today. The dynamic duo of Lambs and Robbie Audrey right on the millisecond at 7 o'clock, followed up by Stevie Wood and Lizzie. How you doing, Lori and Donna Ray and Anthony, who's here, and Dee and Donna and Chuck. And wow, isn't it amazing how an almost 80-year-old man has a memory like I do? Most of my counterparts at my age are either dead or suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia. Could it be the carnivore diet? Might be. At any rate, Danny in Boston is here. Hiya, Danny. How are you? And Rick says, let's go. So let's go. And I'll try to keep an eye on the chat. I'll try to multitask and do all that again, but I want to have a little coffee with my friend Kelsey. So let's get this set up. And you ready? You ready? You look ready. Okay. Here we are. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. How are you today?
No echo today. That was my fault.
No what? It's okay.
That was my fault yesterday.
We didn't have Louis.
I didn't need Louis. I figured it out. I figured it out when it happened last night. I knew it hit me what it was, and it's the fact that how complicated my little setup is here.
Well, glad to be here. Always love watching you. And I did watch the Ken Berry show. It was really good, and Ken will be here today. I'm confident of that. He's a good
okay, guy. Good. Well, say hello for me.
Yes. And I'm having my Java juice and hanging out with my good friend and listening and learning, and all of my friends on Mitch's channel, which is really wonderful. And hopefully there's going to be hopefully I'm going to get to Barry Simon's Boston meetup. I'm working on that, and so that's it should be good. But if we're not there physically, I guess there's going to be a virtual show. Is that right?
Well, unless you come down here, swoop me up, and take me up to Boston, I'm going to be down here. And if that doesn't happen, I'm going to we're going to do a 4-hour live stream. And Barry's going to be up there at the restaurant with some kind of a setup, wireless mics and a notebook or something, and logged in. I will create a StreamYard link and publicize it, and I'll sit here. He'll be up there. Kind of like what you did down at your place. Remember?
Yeah.
Where you had the thing running? Except that I'm going to be, instead of it just running like that, I'm going to be allowing anybody who wants to come into the panel on that stream. and talk to the people directly that are up there at the restaurant who want to come over in front of the computer or whatever and talk to their friends out there, uh, out there, from the chat rooms and everything, and get to meet some of these people face to face, and we'll see how it works. The worst thing that could happen is it's stupid and boring and nobody watches. But
then again, it's going to be great. And it's
I
a
think so.
community, the same thing. And people, we sit and listen, we watch, or we just listen. And there's bits and pieces of something that is great, and but lots of in between. Roberto.
That's you. I named my bear after you. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roba.
I didn't do it. Susie Marsh came up with that name. Robearto.
I love
Roberto.
Susie Marsh. Susie's amazing too.
Yeah, she really is. She really, really is. So I'm gonna. We have not planned anything. We don't ever plan anything when we go online. We just schmooze. No cigars because we're both indoors now. So do you remember your house in Sarasota? Do you remember it? Does it remember you?
Yeah, well, not really. I'm still trying to find stuff. I've been gone for so long, and I've got to be gone again, back up north and back to California, and then back up north again. And so, thankfully, up north I'll be close enough to Boston. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be at the keto symposium down in San Diego on the 15th, 16th. I think I'm speaking on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. And what am I going to talk about?
Well, I don't know. You're going to talk about maybe muscle cars or boats, airplanes. You could always talk about airplanes. Other than that, I can't think of a thing that you might want to talk about at a symposium for what?
Keto.
Well, talk about keto. You could do that.
I talk about planes, trains, boats, cars.
Cars, yeah. And eating meat.
And yeah, I was on with Josh Desh yesterday, and talked about the glycocalyx.
Fascinating. I can't believe you found those big, thick books, on glycocalyx.
They're expensive, although the best one is actually free online. Essentials of Glycobiology, and it's the Cold Harbor Press. I recommend everyone play with it. It's just, again, it's amazing.
Well, it's all so much more complicated in the chemistry aspect, but the management of that chemistry is the height of simplicity. And that's where the confusion comes in. How can something so complicated not need to be monitored hour by hour? Our physiology. And that's true of any complicated system. When you get in your jet and you put it on autopilot, and you're up there at 35,000 feet flying along at 400 or 500 miles an hour, and you stop paying attention very much because you have faith in the system, that somebody who designed the system that is monitoring thousands of times a second from sensors everywhere, monitoring your altitude, your airspeed, the condition of each of your engines. There's a computer for everything. Yeah, if there is any definition of faith that I subscribe to, and faith is not a big word in my vocabulary because it's misused and it can mean anything. You can mean anything. You can have faith in any. Faith just means just to believe and not question. That's what the word defined in Webster's dictionary. To believe without proof or evidence. You have faith. You just put your faith in something. You trust whatever designed that system to know what they were doing and you put your life and your future and everything in their hands, whether they be the engineers that designed the flight systems on your airplane, or what we call God is whatever came together in the universe that ended up with us having the physiology by whatever, however it got here. You trust it. Well, what we're doing as carnivores is we're not having faith. We're not having faith. We're trying to outsmart this machine that we are. And I think that's, without trying to be religious or not religious, it has nothing to do with that. It is purely, as far as I'm concerned, how the biology of what we are got here and what we need to do to maintain it. And I think the greatest discovery, Kelsey, we have ever made in life is that all we need to do is feed it right. That's it. If we do that, everything else is going to work out fine. There, that's as close to a theological discussion as I'm ever going to get.
Well, think back to the Wright brothers' first airplane,
Yeah.
and all the bits and pieces of discoveries, inventions that man has created, and even to create that drone that nobody needs to be in today, right? And it's automated, right? Or it's with someone somewhere moving the wings, right? The airfoils,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The
the
ailerons.
rudder, the ailerons.
That's good. I'm sorry.
Well, the autopilot, right, is it does better than anything we could do, but it's these minute little movements, and but
Exactly.
it's and so you must imagine that life began as something like someone who's flying a kite, and it added on the complexities, but it still all began as some simplicity.
Well, it's all
And
building. It's all building blocks.
right,
It's Legos. It's like Legos. It's all building blocks. The first life still exists in all of us. The
right,
first chemical reactions of life are still the basis. And you can there's an analogy to that, especially in the computer world. When you look at software, how software has evolved, the basics, the first software routines and commands that existed in the old MS-DOS, way back when Bill Gates started Microsoft, those still are the basic fundamental subroutines of the most complicated software on the planet. The subroutines that allow something to be put into memory, read out of memory, put into a hard drive, retrieved from the hard drive, put into a processor register, manipulated, compared. These things were the same code that was in the first period, and we still run on the same subroutines that the first early life did, and it just built on itself and got more and more and more complicated. In nature, the complication is the human physiology. In technology, I've got this now. Have you seen this yet?
yes, I saw you talking about it yesterday.
Yeah, this is without a doubt the most incredible piece of technology you can ever imagine. What's inside this thing? Try to imagine hundreds of thousands of transistors. 256 billion bytes of storage. The screen displays of this high resolution, and the thing weighs 200 grams and folds up and puts in your pocket. This didn't come along without all the discoveries that led up to this. But this contains all of the technology that was discovered before it. And you can liken living things evolution to the evolution of products that we make. Only our evolution has been going on since the first cell actually split in half somewhere about 800 million years ago or a billion years ago.
What was the
I
first?
find that fascinating.
What about the first molecule created by the universe?
Well, that's the realm of physicists, quantum people to study quantum mechanics. There's so much going on today in that field, and all you got to do is peruse YouTube, and we're beginning to theorize things that we still have no way to prove. Because how do you prove anything? You basically have a consensus. In other words, if it sounds like the beginning of a joke. If 10,000 carnivores come out of a bar and only 5 of them have cancer, what conclusion can you draw from that? Well, it's not a study of any kind. It's anecdotal. It's an observation, and in our community, that's all the proof that we need. We see it every day. Look at Butter Bob. You ever watch Butter Bob? Bob Briggs?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Butter Bob was a big YouTube star back in the day when back in the keto day. And he was an entertaining guy and nice guy. Everybody loved him. And he came up with a catchy hook. Butter makes my pants fall off. And that attracted a lot of people. That was a great, well, what we call shtick. His shtick, that was his shtick. Well, Butter Bob went the way of most YouTubers, especially back then, when there were so many people bad-mouthing these things, and you get tired of getting beaten on and being called a fool and an idiot. So he finally had enough of it. There's very little money in this, if any, and he went away. He went away, and he watched. But while he went away and watched, he started eating crap. He fell off the wagon. He got big and fat again. Well, he had a comeback about a year ago. In fact, I think I saw a video of his 200 days, and he's lost a bunch of weight, and he has a picture on the thumbnail of him being, with a shirt off, a big fat, and then how much he should. Well, so Butter Bob has proven to us that this works. Because here's the way it was when I was doing it. I was thin and svelte and healthy and energetic. This is what happened to me when I stopped doing it. I got big and fat and sick. So I started doing it again. Now I'm getting thin and healthy and energetic again. Well, you can't beat what you see with your own eyes, regardless of what everybody else is telling you or what they want you to believe. Don't tell me that. I saw it first. I see it firsthand. Your stuff is just conjecture, theory, manipulation, and agendas. And it usually ends up with money coming out of my pocket. So that's all we really need. I don't even listen to studies anymore. Do you?
I'm entertained by them in the sense of the garbage. I talked about meeting some people at the cigar bar yesterday, and we talked about pancreatic cancer, and we talked about colon cancer, and we talked about standard diets killing us, Mediterranean, and they're all increasing, doubling by 2050, pretty much. And interesting enough, if you go to the experts of the country or the world basically say, we're really excited. A new blood test is coming to diagnose you earlier, so we could treat you earlier. And they're gastrointestinal and nutritional experts that basically there's no discussion about keto or carnivore or fasting. It doesn't exist.
Well, and the doctors never ask you what you eat. The most important single question in the whole world that a doctor should ask you. When you take your dog to a vet, you take your dog to a vet. The first thing the vet asks, what are you feeding this animal? How come it's so important in the health of your dog, but never seems to enter the conversation when a doctor is treating a human being. Corruption, money, agendas. You think maybe? Nah, I'm just crazy. I'm one of those crazy conspiracy theorists and a denier. I'm a science denier is what I am, and pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. And that's what
Should have
it
heard Rick
is.
today on a jam of the conspiracies of the world, but ultimately we're small fries in this global world of content that's domesticating, and
Absolutely.
and that's our biggest problem.
Speaking of Rick, I want to show you this.
I am Rick, from the planet Mopar. I seek a mate. My preference is a muscular human with long blonde hair. Wait, what? A human mate? From a planet called Mopar? This is getting really weird.
We make so much fun of Rick.
All
It's fabulous.
What do we want? Humor, comedy, and that's you think about the late night shows, unless you're watching 24/7 news. It's all we want: comedy, we want humor. That's what, and we're making fun of each other. That's the beauty of it, right? And
Well, I think so, and I think that's what I'm trying to bring. I may not bring, the most popular show on carnivore or keto YouTube, but I'm trying to at least provoke somehow. And Barry has made it real easy for me. Provoke a smile and lighten up a little bit sometimes. I sit around and this stuff's in your face all day. You wake up first thing in the morning, you hear about what's going on in the Middle East and this war and that war and gas prices, and then you hear about the political bullshit. This one's accusing that one of the this and the other thing, and you just want to go shut the hell up and turn it all off. And I've done that. And as I get older, I do more and more of that. And people can't understand why old people are standing on their front lawn saying, "Get off my lawn," or they get cranky when they watch people that haven't gained any wisdom yet in life, but gained a lot of superfluous knowledge, go about fighting with each other instead of just laughing and enjoying what we have to enjoy.
although it's the human nature to fight,
Well,
that's our anthill. It's just the nature.
Well, we had to because it started out, I think, initially, and you'll see it in the animal kingdom. It's fighting over food and territory. It's a survival thing. You don't win the fight, you're dead. You don't survive. And you can understand that there's a natural competitiveness to life where the fittest are always fighting to survive, because we didn't always have the 7-Elevens on every corner. We didn't have the apartment houses for rent. We didn't have the food and the shelter available to us. We had to go out there and grab it, and half the time it was grabbing it from somebody else.
If you look at Pompeii, they had fast food all over the place there.
Yeah, but what happened to those? Those civilizations didn't make it either.
Well, we're all doomed essentially to probably go through the same apocalyptic. Nature controls this, right? Ultimately, earthquakes, tornadoes, storms,
Absolutely.
volcanoes.
Absolutely.
That something will happen that will destroy all of this, but it'll create and make something else. That's the nature of the universe. There will be another Big Bang, and we will not be known to anything in the future.
Well, we may, whether we consciously are aware of it or not, the new theories of quantum consciousness and quantum biology are basically saying that we never, and I think this may be the feeling of this, may be where the whole reincarnation thing came from, when people 1,000 or 2 years ago were trying to figure out, why do I have this feeling that I've been here before? we all call it deja vu and things like that, but we all feel, and then somebody comes along, whether it's a lounge act or real science, they do and if you remember Bridie Murphy, do you remember that story? It was about age regression. They hypnotized somebody and they started to remember past lives, and they remembered details that they couldn't possibly know. They spoke in languages they had ever learned. Whether that was a hoax, magic act, or it was real, scientists started doing it. We all get deja vu, where you just stop in your tracks and say,
Right.
I've been here before, man. I've done
seen
this.
it.
Whether that's the fact that we actually have memories from our ancestors ingrained in our epigenetics that we inherit, and not in our
Yes.
basic genes, but our epigenetics. And you can't put your finger on it, but weird things happen to you. For example, you go back and visit the town in a foreign country where your father was born, and you're walking around and something comes over you, a feeling of familiarity. Well, I believe that's an absolutely real thing. And I tried in my book to explain my theories of it, but that was before they brought quantum physics in, universal consciousness, and all these other things that I'm starting to say, wow, that is really, really a good theory. But how do you prove something like that? You can't prove something like that.
Well, think about, because we don't understand energy waves. We do a little bit, light waves. I mean, it's all energy. Because think about it, the computer and the earphones that I'm watching and listening, there's no connection to anything. There's no wire connection, right? And so this energy is everywhere, and it's right. We're never losing it. It's always there. So we pick up these senses in ways that you and I we don't understand anything. We're telling stories.
I tried to, in my book, I tried to explain it the way I could perceive
Wait a minute,
it
you
to
have
be.
a book? What book do you have?
I have this book. You know how much money I've made on my book since I printed it?
You mean how much money did it cost you to print it?
It cost me a couple $1,000 when I printed it and got in a bunch of copies that I have since given away. I have in royalties to date on my book right here, I have made $0.00. Even when it gets sold on Amazon, they report it to the publisher. The publisher has kind of like a minimum. If we can't cut you a check for $10 a month, we won't. I stopped checking with the publisher to see if my royalties have exceeded their minimum yet. So this was a labor of love. I haven't made any money, but some people have read it and thought it was the dumbest thing they ever read. Other people have read it and said it's the most brilliant piece of writing I've ever read, and that's to be expected. That's to be expected. I don't push it. I don't want people to buy it. I give it away to I gave you a copy, and I give it away to anybody that's in our members community, because I got to give them some kind of perk. And I don't know what else I got to offer, but they can download a free copy of the book. Most people don't read it. Most people have other things that are more important in their lives.
I have a copy. I've enjoyed it. I think it's a great book. And Rick said in here, energy can neither be created nor destroyed.
Well, that's what they say. It can only be converted to matter. What depends on what theory that I've been all over thermodynamics. There's a lot of misapplications of thermodynamics because thermodynamics assumes a closed system. The human body is not a closed system. You cannot take the laws of thermodynamics and say energy in, energy out. That's where we got the misconception of, calories. If you eat so many calories, you're going to gain so many pounds, because the human body is constantly exchanging energy with the world around us. And the only way to measure anything accurately, if you're looking to do human tests, is you have to put somebody in a chamber where you know exactly what's in all the air that they're interacting with around them. So I tend to stay away from those things.
Everything we speak is our observation of the environment we exist in. So we're sharing our belief systems that have created much in essence, but it's all theoretical. Technically, it's fun.
Yeah, we can't see things at an atomic level. Mm-hmm. We can't see them with a microscope. We can't see them with an electron microscope, because they're so much smaller. And people say, well, how come we can't see it in a microscope? Well, because you're dealing with wavelengths of light. And here you're trying to see something this big, but at that scale, the wavelength of one cycle of light may be 1,000 times bigger. So how can you see something that's smaller than the actual wavelength of light? And you can't. So we theorize how it's working. And how it's working gets us in the quantum realm, which we're still theorizing. There are experiments. Number one, things happen that we observe, and we kind of take for granted. We take it for granted. I'll give you an example. Explain to me. I mean, this is my mind at work. Explain this to me. Why did that thing stick to my cell phone? What the hell is holding it on? It's not attached. What the hell is going on here? Explain at a subatomic level the forces that are at work, keeping that thing on my cell phone and not letting go. Nobody on the planet Earth has figured that out yet. That is the mysterious force occurring at a quantum mechanic level that we all take for granted. It's just a magnet, man. We stick the shit on our refrigerator. If you explain to me whether light, a photon, has any mass, is it a particle or is it a wave? These are physics questions that physicists are still going, well, we don't get it. Gravity. How come I'm stuck to the ground here? Why can't I just float up in the air if I want to? You have to look at these forces of nature that are at work at the basis of everything that is built from the results of their actions. And that's where life comes from. So we're not equipped. I agree. We're not equipped to know that shit yet. Just seeing what we're supposed to eat. That's what
we're all the easy thing. Publish or perish.
Yeah.
Be online or be offline. How do I?
You're a magical bastard, Kelsey. You are.
We're simply here to hang out, right? And ultimately, we're all fertilizer. We're all actually part of the magnet. There's forces that are pushing and pulling at all of us in ways that you and I can't really explain, but like Socrates and other great thinkers, they had a lot of time just to kind of write things down, and thankfully, eventually, or chip them into a stone, or use some a plant a chemical to write on a wall of a cave, right? And eventually, we all kind of tell another story, and but is the Big Bang real?
Well, now they're starting to doubt that. because now that we have these, this is what I'm saying, something that we accept as fact, because it's been accepted as fact so long, is now people are scratching their head and saying, well, if that's true, how do you explain this other thing that we just saw with the James Webb Space Telescope showing a galaxy too far away, too old to have to date back before the Big Bang? And then some other side, then you see 100 YouTube videos. The Big Bang Theory is disproved. And then you see a video where they said, well, we found a way to explain it. That's not really a galaxy we saw. It's something else. And
you look really great. Wait a minute. Let me see what we see in that telescope.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let me clean the lens. Oh, it was a speck on the lens. Is that it?
Exactly. Something that you think you saw. You think you saw, but
well, physics and mathematicians, they're theoretical. It's all theory.
Of course it is. Of course it is, because we're theorizing in a machine, in our brain, and we can have misconceptions. We can even have hallucinations. There are people out there that have a 6-foot-tall rabbit named Harvey that accompanies them everywhere. And to them, that's real. That's real. That's why sometimes you have to even doubt one's eyewitness testimony. Could be a hallucination.
The only thing that truly exists is God.
Well, and our different definitions of that, of what that actually means, is where all the problem comes from.
Well, but the human being's definition of the creator of everything in general, that thing we label as God, which ultimately is our story of what it all is.
There's exactly.
Rock that writes the story. You do.
But the problem that we have, I hate to get into this discussion, but the problem that we have, and you and I have talked about this, and we agree, is we take this concept that of this God, and then we try to explain it or talk about it in terms of our little planet and those of us that are crawling around on this little planet, and try to get people to believe that this concept of God is everything, God is the universe, God is the connection between all particles and all living things. You can call that God, but that God is not a person. That God doesn't have a computer in front of him. He doesn't have a notebook. He doesn't keep track of you or me. He doesn't plan our entire lives. It's not a he. That's the only problem I have. You cannot label,
Mitch.
give it a pronoun.
Mitch.
Yes.
Mitch.
Tilt. Yes.
I just told you who it is.
Okay,
It's
and
Tilt,
I agree with you.
Mitch. It's Lori, Lizzie, Jerry. It's
Well,
all of
me,
us.
if it's me, how come nobody listens to me? How come nobody obeys me? I'm puzzled.
Because we create you, and actually we are listening to you.
There
Because
you
if
go.
you exist to me, I create you, and that's all that matters. And
This
all
is
of us are the creations of our lives. We decide if it's a
exactly.
good day, bad day, right day, wrong day, easy day, hard day, or if I'm a vegan or a carnivore.
And in my philosophy, since I wasn't born into a religious household and I wasn't born a Christian, I was born of Jewish heritage. I never really grasped the concept of God. I had a broader version of it because I'd always been a logical thinker, and I'd say, who's God? I'd say the Christian God, because there are a lot more non-Christians in this world than there are Christians. Okay, there's half the people in this world now don't have any. They're secular. They don't have any supernatural or religious beliefs. So I viewed religions at first as a nice club of being around like-minded people, and a way that powerful evil people could make sheep out of people by scaring them. And I just accepted that as the reality, went on my merry way, and tried to figure out the reality of everything. Well, that may be a really bad guy in the eyes of most people when you don't believe what they believe. And here comes the basis of the wars. And if there is a definition of this three-letter word, God, I would profess that there could only be one. It's not conscious as an entity, and that is responsible for all the people in the world came up through the same path. Each one of them did have a different God deciding how they were going to evolve. They evolved according to the laws of nature, and that's what God is. So there's so many people that use God and nature intermixed. I happen to really think that the people that wrote Star Wars really had it nailed. May the Force be with you. And when the first time I heard that, may the Force be with you, the concept of a force is going to act equally on everything, brought a little clarity to my head. I said, maybe that's what they're trying to say, is that we got to stop trying to define our own gods and just accept the fact that nature is what it is, forces are what they are. We may not understand them, but we're here, so obviously something happened. And for that, I'm labeled a heretic. I've been beaten up as a child by people because I wouldn't, accept their religion. I've suffered terrible prejudice, and it's made me a different person. And I don't. I run away from it all now rather than seek it out.
We have definitions that we all have our opinions of our differences, but ultimately we're all one and the same, part of this great creation of the universe that we define. And I would say all of us are living in a religious world. You can't be in an unreligious world, because that's what it is. And the religions are realignment in our thinking, according to Charlemagne or Moses, Abraham, Muhammad, that all the human thinkers, but we're all one and the same, essentially.
I believe that if you observe things, but the problem is that how do we know? We quote these people that lived 2,000 years ago, 500 years. How do we know that they weren't just somebody else's story? They weren't an urban legend, a straw man. Yeah, they are. Exactly. They
are only a story, and pick a story and live your story. The most I can gain from it, is in order for us to get along, work together, we must honor and respect your story. Now, I just happen to have a different story than your story, but I honor and respect your story. And thankfully, in general, enough people in the world kind of honor most other people. There's a few crazies that want to share ballistic missiles.
Well, they're the ones that spoil it. They spoil it for the rest of us, unfortunately. They're fanatics. They're fanatics.
But we can still go to Winn-Dixie and get a deal on pork roast.
At least this week. Here's a burning question, something really important. Let's stop talking about this trivial shit. Did you find Gary's T-shirt?
I haven't found it yet. I guess the first question is, what address did he send it to? And I'm
you got so many houses.
Today. Yeah, I have too many addresses. But usually Planet Earth will get it to Kilts, and it's there somewhere.
It is my chock full of meat shirt from Gary.
Yeah,
I like that. Well, that was a burning. Now Barry sent me a new meme, and I don't know what it is or whether he wants me to show it or not. And if I can't preview it Well, I can preview it. I can preview it by doing this. And hang on a second. Let me preview this and see what we got here. If I did. I can show that one. I can show that one. It's a new Barry meme. Well, Kelsey, you're checking your email or whatever you're doing.
Can't hear it.
Australia, 10 million at the festival. Join the meat empire now. Yes, the carnivore revolution is sweeping the world. Welcome back, carnivores. The revolution is sweeping the globe. Look at Brazil. The carnivore revolution is sweeping the nation. London bans vegetables. And Australia, 10 million at the festival. Join the meat empire now. Yes, the carnivore revolution is sweeping the world. Paris bans salads. New York steak victory. Welcome back, carnivores. The revolution is sweeping the globe. Look at Brazil. The carnivore revolution is sweeping the nation. London bans vegetables. And Australia, 10 million at the festival. Join the meat empire now.
Okay, let me stop. Yes, let me stop that. All right. Oh, Barry. Wow. AI is scary, isn't it? AI is scary. Has anybody asked any questions today? I see Peter's in the chat. How you doing? Peter says, love it, Barry. Who else did I miss? You and I get talking, Kelsey, and if people could be a fly on the wall when we may have look at things from many different viewpoints, but I don't think that you and I have ever disagreed on the reality of anything, have we? I don't remember a time when we have.
We align in our belief systems that the best known Jew is Jesus Christ.
And again, I think that's a story too.
It's only a story, but remember who created Christ, the Jewish community, and that's the best story ever created in order to create the largest religious organization to control the majority by the leadership of the church, which is controlled by Abraham and Moses.
So it's the Jews' fault after all. See, you know.
There's no fault.
I'm joking. I'm joking. If we were responsible for all this goodness, how come people hate us? How come there's anti-Semitism in Boston and New York now? How come they elect this Mondani guy who is an anti-Semite? Why do people hate us so much?
Okay, they love you. We all love each other.
You should love each other.
Love you? You married a woman right? Again, it's the nature of the day. We love each other one minute, we hate each other the next. Yeah. It's just the yin and the yang. It's all okay.
We both know all about that, don't we?
I mean, the only thing Jesus said is, hey, let's all get along. That's it.
Well, I thought that was, what's his face in Los Angeles. When
yeah.
What was his name? Yeah, Rodney King. Why can't we all get along? Why can't we all get along?
Because the universe is always in entropy, right? It brings things together and it breaks things apart. That's just the nature of the system, right? There's a harmonic nature of movement, right? And rain, wind, sun, heat, all these things are constant. Nothing is still. And so the nature of relationships are the same. It's always moving. That's why they're lawyers.
And lawyers and psychiatrists.
I was going to say psychotherapists.
Psychotherapists.
Right. And what do we solve? Nothing.
We live at, everything exists at different levels. Everything is built on building blocks that each have their own story and their own existence. And at the top level comes one of us humans sitting on a psychiatrist's couch saying, I'm so depressed. but what's that got to do with what's going on inside every cell of your body? Nothing. Nobody's got the answer. Well, Rick's got the answers, evidently. Did I lose? Go ahead.
This too shall pass. I think that's a good passage from our Bibles. This too shall pass.
Now, there was a we'll end this discussion on this note. There was a fellow named Robert Ringer, an author. He wrote a book called Winning Through Intimidation. It was pretty much a sales book, a motivational book. Winning Through Intimidation. That's kind of doesn't sound like the greatest way to win to me, but it was winning through, and it wasn't anything he said about winning or everything else. It was what he said about how to make it through life, have a philosophy, and not take things too seriously. And in one of the chapters in his book was called My Great Ice Ball Theory. Okay. And the Great Ice Ball Theory said, why am I worrying so much about this? In 4 billion years, our sun will expand as a red giant and encompass the Earth. But before that happens, there will be no more life on this planet. That's the certainty of our future. So why am I worried about what's going to happen to me? Because none of us are going to get... And it was kind of a mental exercise to say that there are forces at work much bigger than our little petty problems. And sometimes we have to put these things in perspective. Whether he got the point across it, I don't know. But that's what I took out. That's what I took out of it. This is like a philosophy show. It's like a philosophy show.
That's what this is. It's, and we're connecting with our community of brothers and sisters that talk about thoughts and ideas, and we all have challenges and troubles every day. And that's why we come here, is to listen, learn from you and others, and how carnivore. I think faith is the most important thing in life for all of us, is faith in God, which is within all of us, and working to fix things. And carnivore, to me, carnivore lifestyle is the lion's, the regal lion. That's what this is.
And here's one more.
Welcome to the Carnivore Church, where scientism is our gospel. I was a mere mortal, but meat transformed me into a high priest of health. Our Bible is PubMed. Our Savior is the ribeye. Reject the heretics of veganism. Embrace the eternal life of bacon. Scientism says meat heals. Let the studies be your light. Amen. Hallelujah. Meat.
There you go, man. There you go.
I love you. It's the stories, because ultimately the biblical stories are more powerful than any scientific journal. And that's what we truly live by. And again, we're telling a story that we found healing through the proper human diet or lifestyle. And it's simple. Hang out with Mitch, drink coffee, a cigar from time to time, and eat meat. Be done with it.
From time to time, for me, means from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. My time to time periods are very short.
As George Burns once said to the question from Johnny Carson, what does your doctor think about you smoking cigars? And George at 93 said he died 20 years ago.
He died, yeah. My grandfather shared the same story. I told that many times, yeah. Yeah, and you enjoy a cigar. I don't think you're worried. In fact, you and I are probably prime examples of the concept of what they call user bias and wishful thinking. People believe what they want to believe. You and I would much rather believe that the cigars aren't hurting us. And the fact that we believe that probably helps in our relaxation, and in a roundabout way, they are helping us.
As you think, stress. So shall it be.
Well, that was Napoleon Hill. Remember, you probably read all this stuff. Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, all those guys. Think and Grow Rich. Remember that book, Think and Grow Rich? Yeah. Mind is the master. They're all saying the same thing.
And they're from our Old Testament and our New Testament. They're from our ancient books.
Well, it's because it's a concept we were intelligent enough to understand and just explain them in the terms of the day. When we're still writing the same thing today, but we're couching it differently because our world is different. There's only one reality. Everything started from something sometime back then, and it happened one way, and we're all still busy trying to figure out what that way was. The sad thing is when we become convinced that we know the answer and want to kill everybody else who believes something different. And unfortunately, that's, I think, a human trait that we're stuck with. We'd all love to see wars end and killing stop, but we're not deep enough thinkers yet, except
Or
you
we're
and
too
me.
deep. Or we're too deep.
Well, some of us kind of understand and try to be, tolerance is something that is a good quality, something I lack sometimes. And knowing yourself is the most important thing, I think. At any rate, as always, it's been so great having you, despite the red hat. What does it say on that hat? Oh, meat stock hat. Okay. Do people ever ask you what that means?
Never, because I don't wear it out. I wear it in the house.
Okay. I wear these T-shirts. Nobody hardly ever comes up to me and asks me. They don't even notice them most of the time. And the ones that Gary make look so much like the advertising logos that these companies put out that you have to point it out to them. No, this doesn't say Budweiser. It says Carnivore. See, Budweiser starts with a B. Carnivore starts with a C. Open your eyes and take it all in.
But there is an impact to what you're doing and everyone else is doing here. The story is growing. More and more people, like I go to the cigar bar. Well, I go to a place where I meet new people and we talk about something that most people don't hear about. Wherever I'm at, all I want to talk about is carnivore. Carnivore and Christ, to me, are the most important foundations of conversation. And Christ is a rabbi.
Of course he is. And I don't include that in my conversation. I want to talk about carnivore and cell phones. So we all have a different this thing, man, I've got it set up now. I've tried this is the 8th one that I've had, the 8th fold over the past 7 years. I sent every one before this one back. There was something about it that made it unusable for me. This one is the first one.
Which one is that?
The first one. This is the Galaxy Z Fold 8, not the Ultra. The Ultra is tall. This is shorter and wider. And interestingly, I showed this last night. Interestingly enough, talk about history that people forget. People forget history. This phone, I got this phone here. Look at this. See this?
Yeah.
It's a Galaxy Note. It's got to be 12, 15 years old, maybe. This was the first phone right when the flip phones, everybody had those little flip phones. And then Samsung came out with this thing called the Galaxy Note. And I bought one because I always have to buy one of everything. This was the first phone that had a stylus in it, that you could pull out the stylus, see?
Yeah.
And you could write on it. It was the precursor to all of the new phones that Samsung's put out. Okay?
Uh-huh.
It was the first time you had a phone that looked like a little tablet.
Yeah.
It was a precursor to the smartphones of today. It was way before its time, but I had one. And I used to walk around talking on it like this, and people would make fun of me. Look at that guy. He's talking on a tablet. That's not a phone. That's the funniest thing I ever saw. Who dreamt that up? That is so stupid, they would say to me. How can you do that? You're talking on a tablet. It's not a phone. Well, look what happened. From this, we got the iPhone, and then every phone, and then they started getting bigger and bigger because my phone today, look at the size difference. If this was big, what the hell would you call this? Yeah. So what happened now? Now, this is a small phone. It's the same phone. Nothing's changed. It used to be so big it was a joke. Now, it's a small phone.
Love it.
What happened? What happened is our perception of it changed. The story changed. So Samsung comes out with this new tablet. Same size screen.
Yeah.
Everybody says, nobody will buy that. It's way too small. You know, this is going to become the most popular size phone. Apple's is coming out with a foldable the same size as this. So the tall, what they call candy bar phones, are going to disappear. And that's a story of life. That's a story of life. We adapt and change, and then it becomes our culture, and then it becomes reality, and we don't remember where it all came from and how those changes really happened.
And at the end of the day, our children and our grandchildren are what matter most.
Yes, sir.
And with that note, I've got to get to another meeting, my brother, and to my friends here. I appreciate Mitch and everyone for allowing me to hang on with you guys, hang out, and share the mysteries of the universe.
Well, we didn't answer a lot of questions today, but
no, I appreciate you, everybody. I've been reading.
We have these discussions, and we could go on for hours like this. And we always end up agreeing in the end run and having a great deal of respect for each other. At least I hope that it comes back. I have a lot of respect for you, my friend.
Well, I have infinite respect for you and what everyone else is sharing, and just a blessed day. And we're on at 9:00 with Ken Berry.
And
so come on over if you guys have time. We'd love to see you.
I'll do that. All right, my friend. Thanks for coming in, and I'm going to close it down because we are over time, and shame on us.
All right. Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye. All right. That was nice. Always nice. It's nice that Kiltz has the time to do that. When he gets back settled down again, it's on me. I'm off to surgery at 7:00, so I enjoy the conversations, and I hope we didn't overdo it this morning with the philosophy and that kind of thing. So thanks so much for coming. We'll see you on Monday morning. I'll see you on Kiltzy's show Sunday, probably stop into Rick's tomorrow morning for a short visit and say hi to everybody. But for me, I'm going to take the time off. I got some videos to make, and hope the weather holds out a little bit because I got to do some outdoor filming. At any rate, have a great Friday. See you in the chat probably, or viewing Ken Berry and Kiltz at 9. I hope he doesn't have something else come up and have to reschedule again. And I'm sure we'll get another Barry Simon meme if that happens. Have a great day, everyone, says Lori Sparky. Donna says, I hope you all have a great day and a great weekend, and may the beef be with you. Another Star Wars reference. May the beef be with you. Appropriate. Mike Silly Sr. says goodbye. Lori Stanson, Manda. Good to see you all here. Paris, Peacock, love and peace to you all. As I always used to say, peace on everybody. Barry Simon, have a great weekend all. Barry, I'll be looking to hear from you, and we'll go ahead and get that little test set up. Max D says, eat meat. About sums it up. So, my friends, you know the drill. If nothing else, I am predictable. You know what I'm going to say. Take the rest of the day off and eat meat.